I'm so happy to be with you. And wasn't Sally Jo great? Wasn't that fun? Yeah, it's like, thank you, honey. So our conversation today is the truth about sufficiency. And really, I think it's another way of saying we've lost the right to sing the blues when we know what is true. So that's what we're up to today. And we're going to begin by building on what Reverend Jill has been working with this month with your series on The Soul of Money. So The Soul of Money is a book by Lynn Twist, and it's like a kind of a modern day classic. So it's a book where Lynn, who did years and years of fundraising work for the Hunger Project, what she pulled together was ideas about money where she really showed the contrasts between contemporary societal ideas, which have to do a lot with business is better than agriculture, or this culture is more rich than that culture. And she kind of broke apart those ideas and said, let's look for what's true, not for what is a myth. So last week, Reverend Jill really brought out that idea that scarcity is a myth and sufficiency is what's true. So that's what we're going to build on here today. So I think I've got a person with their head in their hands in pain, but right, Joe, it's like, okay, I always like to remind us of the pain. So why is scarcity so painful? And I think this is an important thing for any of us, no matter where we are on our spiritual journey. It's like, what causes the pain and separation? It's always the idea that somehow we are separate from God. Like that's the root of all of our pain, is some sense of separation. And when it comes to financial good, scarcity shows up as fear about money. So there's some now, but I worry about later when there won't be enough. And one of the big ideas here is that one of the reasons that scarcity is a myth is that if we think there's not enough, the reason it's painful is that then hoarding makes sense. Hoarding is moral if there's not enough. Like if there isn't enough, then if I save some for my family or my people or my good, that's a noble thing to do. But if I realize that the truth is there's a plenty that is invisible and visible, then I'm going to dissolve that idea of scarcity. And the other big idea, one of the reasons that there's so much pain attached to scarcity, is that if we think it's a number, we're always going to feel amiss. So if we think that scarcity is the lack of something and its opposite is abundance, I have to get a lot, then we're always kind of looking for something outside of ourselves. So the truth, if scarcity is the myth and lack is a lie, the truth is something called sufficiency. And sufficiency is the intelligence and wisdom of God. And one of the things, when we realize that, we start to have a different experience of everything, including our money. So I brought a couple of quotes today. The first is from The Soul of Money. And one of the things that Lynn says is, our relationship with money ceases to be an expression of fear and becomes an expression of exciting possibility. So that's, I think, this is the promise, is that when we understand that there's plenty in life, we start to stop relating to money as something that we don't have enough of, and instead we start to see that money, like anything else in this dimension, is a way we can express. Suzanne mentioned that for the last 10, 12 years, I've been the leader of a ministry that goes around traveling and teaching people about spirituality and money. And one of the things I've been very encouraging to folks is this. Right now, in your life, somewhere, some material human thing, you understand the power of God is in this material thing. So some folks in the room here have a relationship with the animals, and you can see in those divine beings, you see the presence of God looking back at you. Or the way you are with your food, you can just bless it and you understand this is God nourishing me. So or I've got folks who say, friendship. I never worry about having enough friends. I know some friends come and go, but I feel like friendship I have plenty of. So whatever it is in your life where you already feel there's some kind of abundance, if you can do it there, you can do it with your money. You can have your money be an expression of who you are. And this concept that when we express the divine, we can do it with money, is something that is right in alignment with our Science of Mind teaching. So I also brought an Ernest Holmes quote, and this is from this thing called You, which I think you all will appreciate. What Dr. Holmes says is, you rob no person when you discover your own good. You limit no person when you express a greater degree of livingness. You harm no one by being happy. You steal from no one by being prosperous. You hinder no person's evolution when you consciously enter into the kingdom of your good and possess it today. And I appreciate today that Mike's, when you all came in, you got something from this thing called You from Mike today. So that's one of my Science of Mind favorites. And I think there's something kind of beautiful in this, that Dr. Holmes is saying that our expression of prosperity, it's a blessing to us and a blessing to others. So with that in mind, let's go a little deeper into what is sufficiency. So there's three things that Lynn Twist really emphasized with sufficiency. The first is this idea that money flows. So she uses a wonderful story of a quote of a woman who says, money is like water. It flows. It carries a current. It carries energy. And just that idea that the wisdom and the intelligence of the divine is not a static thing. It's an expressing, a moving thing. And so with your money, one of the things you can start to realize is this infinite creative intelligence that's abundant. How will I direct it with my money? I spend most of my money coaching with people about how to generate more money in their businesses, right? Like that's mostly what I do. And yet, one of the most powerful things about money is where we spend it and invest it. And one of the things that's in the Soul of Money teaching is, as a consumer, you're voting every time you use your money to purchase something. And so I don't want you to be, too self-conscious about like, what are you buying online and who are you buying it from? On the other hand, it makes a difference. So if you're going to be buying your everything from your beverages to your equipment, to the things in your home, to the advertising, to the shoes you wear, it makes a difference where and how you use your money. So that's something that's actually empowering right now, is how can your flow of money be more infused with what's important to you? So your money flowing makes a difference. The second piece in there that about what is true about sufficiency is about appreciation. So this is Science of Mind 101. Change your thinking, change your life. What you focus on appreciates. And so when it comes to what we do with our money and our prosperity, attention, where are we looking, and intention, what do we want to create? Those two things together create that's our power. And I'm going to be sharing with you today some of the things of Money Monday and Faithful Friday, some practices that are often based on, you've got a choice about where you put your attention, and when you put it in what you want to create, that grows. So appreciation is powerful. And then the third piece is this piece about collaboration. So Lynn Twist tells a great story of how she was in a hurry, car breaks down, she goes to an auto shop, it's late in the day, and they're having an office party at the auto shop, and she says, I need you to fix my car, and they say, we're missing the right people, but at our party, we need a piano player. And she says, well, you're lucky. I play the piano, you fix my car. So she spends, an hour playing the piano for the office party while they fix her car. And there's something kind of beautiful in that, where she says, one of the things that we don't realize enough is that our collaboration is a symbol of our prosperity. And, I think about the things that are happening in our economy that are positive often have to do with sharing, collaboration, and creativity. So it wasn't that long ago that if you thought about having a professional career, you had to join a company and give 60 hours of your life, to be in one place to make money for them. And now the way the world is you can work 5 hours a week or 80 hours a week, and you can start from, a coffee shop and create something pretty magical. There's something pretty exciting about the flexibility that technology and sharing and other things have given us. And I invite you to just take a look at your life and go, how are the ways that I'm collaborating making a difference? So when Joe gives you a tip like double dip, buy the flowers sponsor the flowers for church and then take them home and please someone, I think that's collaboration and sharing. Yes? Yeah, all right. So those are some of the things. Looking for the sufficiencies is, it's a way of lightening up our experience of prosperity from being determined only by what's out there and tuning into who we are and what we're creating. So in addition to that, I felt like I wanted to bring a couple of insights about some of the work that I've been doing the last 2-3 years. And this little book is called Grow Yourself, Grow Your Wealth. And I'm going to share about the 2 prosperity practices, Money Monday and Faithful Friday. One of the things I'll mention, this group is, some of you I've known a long time, this group will get it. 12 years ago, if you want to teach people, you need a big book with a comprehensive message, right? These days, it's like people only have the attention span is kind of short, and you sort of give it in a snapshot. So now, the books get smaller, and pretty soon it'll just be a chip, and you just put it in your mouth. So, and I'll also say that I travel around, and I'm in spiritual environments where people are already in tune with abundance ideas, but often need more of the practical stuff for how do I do this week after week. And then I'm sometimes in the wealth building workshops. I'm the spiritual gal when it's the wealth building thing. And there's often a lot of practical tips, but not a lot of let me surrender to a greater consciousness that I can't possibly understand. So, some of both is helpful. So what I found is that it's really good to be able to take the lessons you learn on a Sunday and then put them into practice during the week. So I want to share with you a little bit about Money Monday and Faithful Friday as ways you can embody the sufficiency of truth with your money and everything else. All right, so Money Monday is based on circulation. So you'll see the infinity symbol. And that is the vitality of life. So circulation is a principle. All of life is the flow of giving and receiving. And when we're in tune with circulation, we feel vital. Anything that's healthy, a relationship, a body, financial flow, has circulation. So to put that circulation into practice, Money Monday is when you jumpstart through your giving. So on Mondays, this is a series of steps you can take that can take you anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes every Monday, whether you are an individual running a family's finances or whether you have a business, you can put this into practice. So on Mondays, it's about giving. And you can also think Monday is kind of your masculine money focus day. It's the focus day. So on Mondays, I encourage you to start by giving attention. Giving attention to something called your money purpose or your money purpose statement. So one of the things that's helpful to do is to have a connection between what am I up to in my life and how does the money fit in. So, for example, I've been working a lot with the principle of, for my own life, the principle of congruency. How do I have a match between what I know spiritually and what I do or don't do in my life? So I will say, I'm serving and surrendering to a greater demonstration of congruency. And the money is helping me to share my gifts with the world, and it's also helping me to go deeper in my relationship with God. So I encourage everybody here to have some kind of purpose around your money. On Mondays, you look at it, you say it out loud, and then you want to give attention to the money that you've received. So you give thanks for the 100% of the money that's come to you, And you also do your spiritual giving. Either you do it on Monday, or if on Sunday you wrote a mind-blowingly large check to the Center for Spiritual Living Scottsdale, on Mondays, you would be capturing it or putting it in your Quicken or noting that you did it. So, on Mondays is your time to celebrate your spiritual giving. And then on Mondays, you also look ahead to the week and say, what are the 2 or 3 most leveraged actions I'm going to take this week so that I will move my financial and spiritual goals forward? So just take a moment and imagine if you did this on Mondays. I'm going to ask a question. You can just kind of call out an answer. If you did this on Mondays, what would it do for you? What would be the benefit of that? Bev says focus. Thanks. Kind of a schedule, kind of a order. Yeah, and more of an impetus, like a catalyst. So this, and then also on Mondays can be the day you do your bill paying or you do your financial organizing. If you own a business, you might look at the sales records. But it's particularly if you've got, like, you're building a relationship with money. Having like a money date for yourself with your money can be very powerful. So if that's Mondays, Fridays are all about the appreciation side. So on Fridays, it's the principle of unity. And with the principle of unity, what we're realizing is our oneness with the divine. So this is the feminine principle of havingness. And the way we put the principle of unity into practice on Faithful Friday is we do our receiving. So the receiving on Friday is about consciously taking a moment to get into that feminine place of receptivity. And I think you all really know this, that it's very powerful to have. So if you cannot experience the sensation of having something, whether it's love or prosperity or well-being, if you can't access the sensation of having it, nothing on the outside will bring it to you. And so on Fridays, I like to train people, particularly the people who are very, very kind of action-oriented. I like to train you that on Fridays you stop and you look back over the week and you say, how did the divine show up in my money life? How was I supported? What's occurred for me that really shows me prosperity? And then you also specifically look on Fridays, how are my money goals coming true? So if you have a goal of reducing an indebtedness or increasing the number of clients you have or completing projects, you look back over the week and say, how did that come true? And by that on Fridays, there's this like deepening sense of like, I feel supported. I do have. I'm grateful. So I'll ask the question here. If you did this on Fridays, if you invested 10 minutes of Faithful Friday, what would that do for you? Thank you. You'd relax. Yeah. Deeper awareness, a sense of relaxation and awareness. Absolutely. And for many of us, the ability to stop and rest and feel and relax is really important. So it's a little ironic that, I'm a money coach, and yet one of the things I am working with people on over and over again is you want to have the action and you also want to have the receptivity, because we build our experience of wealth through action, focus, order, catalyst, and we build our wealth through awareness, through relaxation and receptivity. And the reason for this is just the profound idea that there is one source and many channels. And this is kind of pulling this back together with the work of Lynn Twist, is that the source, that infinite, eternal, invisible God, higher power, truth, wholeness, that source is ever present. The channels, they come and go. And this is the thing that's makes our teaching a little bit sometimes more challenging, is that you can have a channel of a generous, good-looking lover, a real estate portfolio that's perfectly balanced, a retirement thing that looks just great, a job that is secure, a family situation, that's what you expect. But you can even hear in my voice, it's like those things, even the good ones, they come and they go. Because that's the nature of everything in the dimension of channels. So we respect the channels. We are good stewards of the channels. But we know that the truth is we're one with the source. So that is my message for you, that sufficiency is a truth that you must live. And I know that Reverend Jill likes to have the 3 action steps, so I'll kind of step over here if you want to take a picture of the slide of your action steps, practicing the principles. And the first is, where do you need to dissolve scarcity and embrace a sense of sufficiency? So look this week, where in your life are you in either a conscious or an unconscious feeling of lack? And then the next is, I encourage you to practice. Practice Money Monday and Faithful Friday to activate both that sense of focus and order and the sense of faith and receptivity and relaxation. And then bless the spiritual source behind your favorite material channel. So whatever the material channel that you have most respect and appreciation for, really be conscious of there's a spiritual source behind it. All right, my sweet ones. So that is our message today, that this sufficiency, it's the truth of who you are. So let us take a breath and we'll take this into prayer. All right. So if you're comfortable, you can close the eye, relax the body. Let's take a deep breath together. Let it out. And how sweet it is for us to recognize that sufficiency is its own prayer, that the presence of God's wisdom and intelligence and supply is forever creating and giving and living and loving as each one of us. So I just throw myself wide open to recognizing that God is, and God is all there is. As me, Karen, as the Center for Spiritual Living, as each beloved here, as everyone who is with us in spirit, as all we are connected to. So we include in this prayer our brothers and sisters in our own families and communities. We also extend this to our valley, our state, our country, our world, all beings included in this prayer of sufficiency. Resting in this, knowing that God is and God is all there is as us, I speak the word. And I accept for each and all that we are deepening in our practice of knowing oneness with Source and expressing it as decisions and relationships and actions and choices that are filled full with generosity, with gracious giving, with gracious receiving, with power, with circulation. I know that our financial flows represent the flow of Source, and that the good of all good is forever available in our lives. I bless everything that is on the prayer requests, and I really know that God is good, all is well. And I release this prayer into the perfect action of God's law with great gratitude. And those in agreement will say together, and so it is.